And so I'm not tolerating an insecure man again, because I find that men that have like trust issues and just insecurities and whatnot, or afraid that I'm always doing something, always being accused of cheating, men that act like that, I feel like they typically are the ones that cheat. They're the ones that's cheating because they feel like you're already doing it, or they're trying to lighten the blow of you possibly leaving and hurting them. So therefore they have to find some kind of other supply to soothe them, because they don't know how to self-soothe. So they look for it in other women because they're insecure.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey girlfriends, welcome back to the Hey Girlfriend podcast. I'm your host, mindset and intuitive coach Kindall D. So let's get into it. Today we talking about how basically you should have a set of non-negotiables when dating and separate that from your preferences. And I'll explain more, but that's the gist of it. It's basically, yes, men don't have to be perfect. You're not going to find a perfect partner, but there should be a list of things that are just a non-negotiable for you, meaning that you won't tolerate, not having these things. You need these things in order to have a relationship or connection with someone. Meaning that some of the preferences means they may not meet they may be imperfect. When you're thinking about like the preferences, like maybe if their height or their weight, or what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of shoes they wear, how their head is shaped. I can go on and on. There can be considered preferences, and the meaning and why they consider preferences, because they can change. Non-negotiables, no change. That means this is what I need. So a preference is something that can basically change over time. Not saying that you have to force the change out of them, because you shouldn't be doing that. You should be able to accept them for who they are right now and who they're showing you right now. But simple things like, hey, why don't we go shirt shopping? If you don't like their clothes. Or, hey, babe, look, I picked you up this shirt. Thought you may like it. Little things like that you can change. You can't change someone's character, is what I'm saying. So some things you just can't be so picky about. I'm just be honest, because you're not going to find the perfect person. You're just not. You're going to get majority of what you want, but it's always going to be a little something that you have to work on. And that's okay. Because you yourself, you're not perfect either. Like, once I started realizing, like, okay, I'm not perfect myself. I got things that I have to work on. I want someone to accept me for all of who I am, and not look for me to be perfect, I don't want someone to look at me and criticize me because maybe I got cellulite, or maybe because, I like wearing graphic tees, or because sometimes I wear wigs and don't wear my natural hair. Stuff like that. I don't want someone to judge me for those things, because those things will change. Sometimes I dress it up. Sometimes I may have my natural hair like I do today. Sometimes I may wear big hoops. Sometimes I may not. Simple stuff like that. I don't want someone to judge me on who I am as a person. I want them to accept me. So you have to be accepting of someone that's not perfect per se. So, but these are some non-negotiables that I had myself after I had gone through my 20s, basically, in toxic relationships. These are all of my non-negotiables that I compiled, and I called it, the men don't have to be perfect, but I absolutely won't tolerate a man as my partner that blank. I got that from someone on TikTok. Honestly, she had her list and she named it as that men don't have to be perfect, but I won't tolerate this. I don't remember who it was, and forgive me, but I made up the list myself. This is my own list. My list is a little different than hers, because every list is going to be different. So I want you to listen to mine and then think about your own. You may like some of mine and decide to put them on your list as well. But every woman that's dating and looking for a partner should have a list of non-negotiables. Stuff that you are just not going to settle for and settle on. Okay? So here we go. Here go mine. Number 1. I will not tolerate a man that does not communicate I will not tolerate a man that stonewalls me instead of actually trying to talk to me and talk it out. I'm not tolerating the silent treatment. I'm not tolerating where I feel like I got to walk on eggshells because you won't talk to me. You won't give me an answer about what's wrong, what I did. I'm not playing the guessing games. I'm not doing that with you. We should be able to talk like adults and talk it out. So that is a non-negotiable. Basically, you have to be able to communicate with me. You have to be able to you have to be willing and able to actually talk through conflicts, because the thing is, conflicts are going to arise. Disagreements are going to arise in any connection, any relationship you're trying to have. But it's all in how you actually work through that and talk it out. So that's important to me, being able to talk shit out. It may be tough. It may be hard to do. It may be challenging to do. It may give you this fight or flight response, like you just want to say fuck all this and just walk away. It might bring up that, but it is important to have someone that is willing and ready to talk through that, because coming from my past and my relationships, talking things out was a no-no. It's like whenever I brought up anything, it was, it broke the connection. It made the connection fall apart. It made them go off on me, get mad at me, gaslight me, because it's like, why are you bringing up this? Why are we talking about this? It's like I was just supposed to shut up and just take whatever that were giving me. So, yeah, not tolerating that. That's something that was on my list that I was like, that's a turnoff to me. Like, I don't care how much I liked you in the beginning. I don't care how cute I thought you was. I don't care how much attention you was once giving me. If you act like you can't communicate and talk through things, if I feel like that I am bothering you when I bring something to your attention, then no, wrap. It's a wrap. We can't, it ain't gonna work. Number 2, I'm not tolerating a man that's insecure. No, never again. Never again. And they hide it sometimes. Men tend to hide the insecurities behind, like, I don't know, just bragging, acting like they're all that, or acting like, they're perfect, or acting like, talking about how they was in the back in the day. And, a lot of these men that come off controlling or come off as, basically like they want to control you and what you do, where you go, what you wear. That's insecurities. That's an insecure man. And they try to act like that's not it, because some men feel like being controlling is what being a man is all about. And I've noticed that that's why they call people like Russell Wilson a simp, because of how he treats Sierra, because of how he is not the controlling type. Some men really truly believe that that's what makes a man, is how much you can control someone and control a woman and get her to do whatever you need her to do for you. He ain't with that. He's actually loving to his woman. And so I'm not tolerating the insecure man again, because I find that men that have like trust issues and just insecurities and whatnot, or afraid that I'm always doing something, always being accused of cheating, men that act like that, I feel like they typically are the ones that cheat. They're the ones that's cheating because they feel like you're already doing it, or they're trying to lighten the blow of you possibly leaving and hurting them. So therefore, they have to find some kind of other supply to soothe them, because they don't know how to self-soothe. So they look for it in other women because they're insecure. And it's like they also can be physically abusive. I've been through all of that. Like, both of my toxic exes were very insecure, had a lot of abandonment wounds, had a lot of trust issues, had a lot of trauma that was unhealed and unnoticed. And little old me thought that I could heal all that, that I could change their mind, that if they just seen that I'm a good woman, then they can, relax and realize that I'm safe. And maybe it could have worked that way. That's something I've also thought about. Like, maybe it could have worked out. Like, maybe they just needed, like, a different emotional experience to show them that they can let their guard down. But they did not do that. So it's like, I just rather not deal with that. So I'm like, you got to be secure, because I'm going to live my life. Love is not that obsessiveness and that, trying to control someone. That's not love. Love is freedom. So when I'm with you, I need to feel like I am free to be and do me. And I also want you to feel like you're free to be and do you as well. So we're both having, an individual experience, and we're also having a collective one as well. Meaning that I'm living my life doing me, and I'm not worried about you not trusting me or having to be guilt tripped whenever I want to go out, or being told what I can and can't wear, where I can and can't go. That is control. And I hated feeling like that. I would never deal with a man that's insecure. And you can tell in the beginning if they are like that. You can just kind of sense it. And so that's why it's important to, pay attention to that in the beginning. And one of the big signs that I noticed at the beginning of a man that is possibly going to be insecure is how they kind of talk to you and how they do with your boundaries. You can kind of sense and feel the insecurity in them, or feel the abandonment wounds, whatever it is that's unhealed. You can kind of sense it in how they act. If they're like, basically telling you already that, how can they? I'm trying to think how they do it. So it's like, because it's, I'm sorry, it's hard to explain it, because it's like, it's an intuition thing for me. It's always been an intuition thing where I can just sniff it out and tell, like, yep, nope. And I'm trying to think, like, one of the main things I feel is like when they act fake jealous. Well, it's not really fake. It'd probably be real, but they'll kind of act like, who you getting cute for, who you getting dressed up for. Some may be trying to do it for flirting wise, but some of them I feel like it's a little insecure. Like they're a little afraid that you're going to hurt them. So they're trying to, like, control you a little bit in the beginning to be like, what you doing all that for? How you dressing like that for? You wearing that? Or, little stuff like that you pick up on. And the boundaries things. When you feel like if you say no, they're going to like run. Or they're going to, or they're just going to not like your boundaries and start to kind of pull away and detach. And then in the same time while they're doing that, they're eventually will come back around. So it's like they become inconsistent. And so when they're being inconsistent, like kind of hot and cold with you, back and forth with you, it's like they're trying to some kind of way soothe the feelings that are coming up or whatever it is they're doing. And it's like, I'm not playing that game with you. Like, I'm not playing these inconsistent, insecure ass games. So no, he cannot have trust issues. He cannot be controlling. He cannot be insecure. It's not my problem or my job to soothe or fix that in a man. And I used to make that my job to fix. It's not. And it's like, I'm not going to be told how to dress. I'm not going to be told where I can and cannot go. Nor will I be constantly questioned when I know I didn't do anything. So, no. Number 3, someone that gaslight me. I'm not tolerating it. I'm not tolerating anyone that basically flips things back around on me or makes me feel like I'm crazy for what I'm bringing up, Just hear it out, because my feelings are valid. And it's like, I need whoever, I told myself this when I was dating, like I need whoever I'm dating to be acquainted with self-accountability and self-awareness. And disagreements can't be solved if you're only seeing how I'm the problem, or if you flip everything back on me when I bring up a concern. So with that being said, it's like I'm bringing up a concern because we need to work it out, not because, I'm trying to come down on you or I'm trying to complain. And if you see it as that, it's like, no. Someone that gaslights me, trying to make me feel like I'm crazy, I'm not going to be made to feel like I'm crazy again. I dealt with this, so I'm like, no, not doing it. That's definitely a non-negotiable for me. Another non-negotiable for me. Men don't have to be perfect, but I will not tolerate a man that is not romantic or loving. Like, just no. After dealing with the men in my past that were basically so inconsistent, or act like they had a hard time just showing up for me, or just act like they couldn't be loving, was emotionally unavailable, or so in and out, up and down. Like 1 minute they're acting like they love me, next minute they're not being romantic, not planning nice things for like my birthday, or just because things, not doing or saying nice things for me. I'm not tolerating that super laid back, too cool for school type of guy that feel like they're too cool to, you know, show how much they love their woman. No, I'm not doing that attitude. Like, I realized I wasn't asking for too much to be treated with love, care, and concern, and to be romantic, and to be romantic, not romanticized, to be, you know, have romantic things done for me is what I'm trying to say, and to be just thought of and treated like I'm special. Like, they used to try to make me feel like I was insecure for asking for those things. That's gaslighting once again. Like, me just asking for simple things like that. It was like it was too much for them to do. So now, to me, when I started dating, looking for a healthier partner and things that I knew I wasn't tolerating again, that was one of the big main things. It's like, I gotta feel like that you happy to have me, and that you not too scared to show your emotions for me. You gotta be able to show me how you feel about me. And this in the small, it can be small little acts of just anything. Like on my first date with my husband, who I'm married to now, it was the simple things that made me feel like that he would always show me like he cared about me. Just pulling up my chair, like easily. It wasn't like it was something like, oh, like he was trying to force to do. I could just feel like it was just something that he does, but he still does it to this day. And it's been what, 7, 8 years, maybe 8 years this year. Pulls out my chair, you know, for me to sit down, and he stands and waits for me to sit down. He took my to-go container out. I had leftover food, and he just, you know, grabbed it. I mean, having to ask, and carried it out for me. Just simple stuff like that, and he still does it to this day. Just simple things like that, just always showing I'm, you know, like you care, like you're not afraid to be that man for me. I need you to act like you give a damn, not like you're too cool for school. You're too afraid to be loving, you know. None of that fear shit. If you're afraid to fall, if you're afraid to be in love, if you're afraid to show your emotions, if you're afraid to share your emotions, if you're afraid to just, you know, fall, then I'm not it. I'm not for you, and you're not for me. And it's like, nope. And I'm not going to pull that out of a man anymore. Non-negotiable. Definitely not doing it. Number 5. This kind of goes with number 4, but I'm not dealing with a man that is emotionally unavailable. And the thing I wanted to add to this one is that I need him to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally stable. No emotional manipulation, and no mental abuse. None of that trying to play with my mind shit, playing mind games with me. None of that inconsistent shit back and forth with me. None of that. Just be emotionally intelligent enough to have a conversation with me about feelings and emotions, and know and be self-aware of how you treat others and how you treat me. That's a big one. Something I want to add to that, to number 5 actually, before I move on to number 6, is that when I was back in the day when I was dating these guys, I didn't really realize they were emotionally unavailable, or if I did, I thought that I could fix it out of them. I thought that I could be like their healer and, you know, bring things up to their attention that I see. I wanted to be like the only one that actually saw them, you know, that can help heal that. And I think a part of it was because I was trying to really be like picked. Like maybe you could say I was a pick me. And so I felt like I was manipulated into doing that because I was all about keeping them by any means necessary and trying to keep them happy and not lose them. And then the whole time I was losing myself though. And so it's like I was so concerned and focused on just keeping them that I like dived into their problems, dived into their insecurities, and I was trying to be that woman to fix it all, you know? But it's like, while you're dealing with someone like that, you're failing to realize that they can't love you, that they aren't loving you, that you're doing all the work. It's one-sided. They're essentially emotionally unavailable, and it's like now you're here trying to pull all the emotions out of them, trying to get them to act right, trying to get them to love you right. And it's like you're trying to heal them so that they can love you right. But it's like while you're doing all that, you're doing nothing but losing yourself, and you're not being loved correctly. And so I had to realize that. That's why I said I would never tolerate a man again that has the trust issues, the insecurities, is emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, up and down, avoiding, all of that. Nope, nope, nope. I need you to be up here with me. I'm ready to love. I need you to be ready to love too. Non-negotiable, baby. Number 6. This one is my personal one. It's up to you if you feel like this is you or not. But number 6 is, I didn't want to tolerate a man again that believed in gender roles very heavily. Like, I like a more egalitarian relationship where it's like no one is really submitting. I'm not being submissive. We're both submitting to each other for the betterment of the relationship, whatever makes it work. Like, our main goal is to make sure that no one is growing tired or pulling out of work. So it's like a balance. Because it's not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes it'll be 70-30. Sometimes it'll be 90-10 even. Depending on the week, depending on whatever is going on in our lives. And so it's whatever is needed to make it keep afloat. And so for me, I did not want to be another woman that fell into the gender roles or the misogynistic bullshit that men like to sometimes place on women. Like, I'm not just here to be your cook. I'm not here to be your maid. I'm not here to be your appointment scheduler. I'm not here to keep up with your doctor's appointments. You're a grown man. You need to be able to know how to clean up sometimes too, because maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm tired, maybe I got a headache, maybe I've had a long day at work, maybe I just need your help. Clean up. Wash your own clothes. You know, it's equal. It's not like, since I am the woman and I am the wife and you're going out to work, that, oh, all you have to do is go work hard. You come home, your job is over, and I'm doing everything else plus working. No. That was a big no. Not tolerating any man that has that view. And it's some men out there that really view women like that. Like, they view them as something like, not someone to like or to really love deeply. They view them as someone to actually be in service for them. And I'm not doing that. And I tell women, it was someone I was coaching, and she didn't think she can find someone like that. And I'm like, no, you have to be really real about what it is you really want and set that standard, and you will get it. That's something that I did right before we decided to move in together, after a year of being together and dating, and I had my own place. So after a year, when my lease was up, you know, we decided to move in together. Or was it 2 years? I think it was 2 years. Yeah, I think it was about maybe a year or two, something like that. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. The semantics don't matter here. But I remember right before, like I said, I came in with my non-negotiable. I was like, if we're going to do this, you still have to do your part and share. We're both working 40 hours a week. We're both working hard. We both have our own things. I'm not just a stay-at-home wife, a girlfriend at that point. So you can keep on washing your own clothes to help me out. You know, if I'm cooking, you can clean the kitchen up, and vice versa. Because there's been some times where he had to be one to cooking because I got off late from work. So he would cook the food. Now it's me cooking the food because I get off a little bit before him, and I'm here all day because I work from home, so I can easily go in there and do it. I hate folding my clothes. I wash my clothes, but I hate folding them. He will fold them for me. So it's like, you know, you get what I'm saying? It's an egalitarian. It's just not that pressure for me because I'm the wife and I'm the woman that I need to be doing everything plus working. It's not fair. And so I wasn't tolerating it. Non-negotiable, definitely. So like I said, that's my personal thing. I will encourage women to look for something more on the equal level, because you should not be getting in a relationship, in a marriage, just to do labor. You know, that's not fair, and that's not healthy for you. It may seem like it's a labor of love in the beginning, but as the years roll by, you're going to find yourself growing tired of that. People be like, why, you know, people ain't married like grandma and grandpa was back in the day. Why they still not married? Because they were tolerating that. And plus, I think a lot of women back in the day didn't really have jobs or stability to work. So the men will go out and work. And so, of course, the woman is at home. She's taking care of the home. Now, if you want to do that, if you want to have that arrangement where he's making the big bucks and you got to do nothing, you just sit at home, that's great. That's different. That's what I'm saying. It has to be to where it is just equal and no one is doing too much work and no one is growing tired. Even if she is at home doing all the work and you're working, sometimes come home, you got kids. It's okay for you to, like, hey, go get some rest. I got the kid for the night. I'm going to feed them and bathe them and help them with homework and stuff. Let the woman go off because she's been working all day at home. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's equal, I feel like I just want all women to feel good in their relationships and not feel like they're just there for labor, because you're so much more than that. So that's my thing, but a small part of it, I hope, is y'all things. Don't feel like you got to just be in a relationship just to be doing labor, or in a marriage just to be doing labor. No, you don't have to have it that way. Number 7, I'm absolutely not tolerating a man that has a short ass temper and goes off about everything. I'm not. The anger and shit, I'm not. Men don't have to be perfect. I get it. It's okay to be angry and upset, but a short temper to where I feel unsafe, to where I feel like you're going off of me, yelling at me, and you can't have a decent conversation without snapping at me. No, I'm not going to feel unsafe in my relationship. It's a non-negotiable, because I'm just not dealing with it. Like all the punching walls and talking to me crazy and no, not tolerating it. Not. That's scary, and I feel like that can oftentimes lead to physical abuse, or it's damn near physical abuse. Like one minute you're punching the wall, the next minute you may be punching me. Learn to regulate and control your emotions. It's okay to have anger. It's okay to get upset in a relationship. I'm not saying that. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. But you can learn how to self-regulate to where you're not using me as like a quote-unquote punching bag or going off on me. No. Not going to happen. So, all of those were my things that I was using basically when I was dating and looking for a partner. I'll be honest, I didn't quite really know how to navigate dating, really. But I was trying to use these tools because these are things that I knew for sure that I wasn't tolerating again. I knew for sure that I wanted a free relationship. I wanted to feel good in it. I didn't want to feel like that I was just there trying to, love them into loving me. So I didn't want to lose myself in that again. And so it was very important that I had these non-negotiables that I listed. It was very important to have these things. And all the other stuff, some other things came with it eventually. And I added, of course, to the list. But it's like, that was the main thing when I was dating. It's like, I'm not tolerating it. And you have to have that type of attitude about what you're not going to tolerate, what your non-negotiables are, so that you won't get sucked into something and get caught up with someone that is displaying all the things that are harmful to you that you don't really want and don't really meet your standards. You don't want to get caught up and sucked into that, because once you're in too deep in that, it's hard to come out of it. And so it's like you have to go in with the mindset already of a list of things that are your non-negotiables and what you are looking for before you attach to someone. Don't attach just based off of how cute they look, or how tall they are, or how well they dress, or how they're love bombing you, and how they're gassing you up, giving you all these compliments, and how they're spoiling you and taking you out on dates and stuff. All that's cute and stuff. All that's just the icing. That's nice. Those are nice things. Don't get me wrong, but I need to know also what's going on the inside of you. I need to know how you're going to actually treat me. How well do you do in communication? How well do you do in disagreements? I need to know those things. That's a non-negotiable. In order for a long-lasting relationship to work for me, I need to know these things. And so when I went in dating, I went in detached, because I'm like, let me look and check for these things first before I attach to you. And so that's all I'm saying is make your list. And remember, it's a difference between non-negotiables and preferences, okay? And what I also want to add to this is that, y'all, don't rush being in a relationship. That's something that I really want to add into. When you're making this list of non-negotiables and you're maybe finding yourself adding to it, or you're making a list of standards, your standards and non-negotiables, I feel, will change as you age and you have more wisdom and you date more and you see more of what you do not want and more of what you do want, and you can add to the list. For me, I didn't know any of this shit in my 20s. I didn't learn any of this until like 29 going into my 30s. And when I started dating, I started, picking up on things and realizing what I definitely want and what I definitely don't want. And so all I want to say is, like, I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I didn't get what I thought I wanted then, because I wasn't ready for it. I feel like if I would have gotten married in my 20s to either one of them exes or someone like them, I would be basically unhappy as fuck right now. And when I say that, I mean it, because it's like, I didn't know that I didn't have to settle. I thought that I had to be like a woman of labor, basically. I thought that I was falling to the misogynistic type of standards of, like, you know, I gotta make sure that I keep my man happy. I gotta make sure that I'm doing this and that. I gotta make sure that I'm, you know, like, it would just be, no, it just wouldn't be good for me, is how I'm saying, because it's like, I feel like that I would be unhappy dealing with that. And I feel like a part of me felt like that I had to. And I guess it was maybe I saw my mom dealing with it. I saw my mom, like, basically fall into that role. And she seemed unhappy, but she stayed in that role. She seemed unhappy with, you know, being controlled, possibly having my dad cheat on her, and feeling like she still had to have food on the table and keep the house clean, keep the house going, keep the kids, keep us, you know, going. Like, she still did all of that, but she was unhappy as hell, but stayed married. And it's like, I did not want that. And at first I thought that it was all I could get, but I had to open my mind up to realize that I don't have to settle for that. Like, I've never seen a relationship like that, but I knew that I had been through it, and I didn't want something like that again. Like, all I felt, especially my first toxic relationship, to John, which y'all can check out my YouTube series, Toxic. Check that out as well. That talks about their relationship, and the book right here, Toxic Ex Chronicles John, which you can get on my link, I'veBeenThatGirl.net. But yeah, I realized as I aged and I gained the wisdom from life and just growing and going through things, I realized that that wisdom helped me to have better standards, have better non-negotiables, and just want better, you know, because I was better and my self-esteem, you know, grew. And with my self-esteem growing, I realized that I don't want the same things that I thought I wanted back then. And so, yes, I didn't marry till like 36. Later in life, I didn't meet my partner till like, 29, going on 30. And I'm actually glad I did. I'm actually glad it went that way in this way, because it's like, I'm happy in this space. I feel fulfilled in this space. I feel free, if that makes sense. I feel free, but I also feel like it's a healthy connection. So I feel free to be me, and just, yeah, it's good. So I'm telling you, you may not quite know exactly what your non-negotiables are, what you really want, because maybe you've never gotten it. But take your time. Take your time with that. Take your time with adding to that list, because when you fall into a connection with someone, you want it to be right. Okay? You don't want it to be another traumatic experience or another traumatic breakup. So take your time. Okay? So that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Until the next one, peace out.